Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Shout out to all my subscribers. I appreciate you guys. If you are new, please make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you can come and hang out with me every time I upload a video. Alright, I know I am super duper late. This is my review. Married at First Sight, Season 10, Episode 13. So I think we're down to, we have two more episodes until this is over, decision day, all of that good stuff. I don't know why this seemed like a very long season. But anyway, guys, let me just jump right on to it. The highlights and my opinions of it. All right, so let's start with Jessica and Austin. They were at dinner discussing where they wanted to live, after the 8 weeks was over, and the subject of commuting came up. I believe Austin was saying, hey, let's live in Silver Spring, Maryland, and apparently that's a long commute for him. So Jessica was like, no, I don't want you to travel that far. And then the subject of him, his job requiring him to travel sometimes 10 days, at a time. So of course that was some concern for her. And they both were talking about the relationship. They're both, committed. They feel comfortable. They feel safe. Blah, blah, blah. Then Jessica brings up, you guessed it, the whole I love you issue again. So she asked Austin, when would be the appropriate time to say it? Now, mind you, she has already asked this question. I think the last episode, she asked, did he think it was too soon to say I love you? So here she is again. When do you feel it's appropriate to say it? So Austin is saying that, it's something that you don't schedule to say. You just grow into it. He keeps giving the same answer. Um so he says that he's crazy about her. He's never developed feelings this fast for anyone. But he just needs more time. He needs more time to get to that point. Anyway, they meet up with Dr. Viviana and they talked about how, their quote unquote first argument, which was about Austin's job requiring him to travel. So apparently Jessica had snapped at him via text. She used all caps, like, ooh, that was major. And yeah, she was upset. I think she said in her text, she was like, are you serious, or is this for real, or something like that. Being upset about him having to travel. Then the subject of love comes up once again. Um, so again, Austin is put on the spot and he's saying it's something he wants to grow into. So Jessica, she says that. See, this what kills me because Jessica would say, I feel like we're both there. I feel like we both feel the same way. But he's telling you the total opposite. And I'm so glad Dr. Viviana said it as well. She was like, well, nah, kind of sound like y'all on different pages. Um, and so then Jessica's like, well, I feel like I'm there. I feel it. And so Dr. Viviana was like, she said she feels it, but she doesn't want to say it first. I fear of rejection. Dr. Viviana was like, well, let's not say rejection. Let's say more of, being vulnerable and, basically just go ahead and say it. So Jessica, she hesitated and she was like, I do love you, Austin. So you can hear crickets. You can hear crickets. Austin was like, and this is my thing. I'm glad she said it because if you feel it, say it. But it should come as no surprise. Like, you have been talking about it, you've been bringing it up, you have asked this man, and repeatedly he has said to you, I'm not there yet. It's not something I want to rush into. Um, I have strong feelings for you. I am growing, and he has said everything, but I love you. So that's your answer. I don't know why It's almost like she feels if she keeps asking, he would change. My thing is, you don't want somebody to say it because you keep harassing them about it. Because at this point, I'm sorry, in my opinion, she is harassing this guy, and stop putting him on the spot. Because I feel like you're gonna push him to the point where he just gonna come out and be like, "Look, I think you're cool. I like you. You know, we have our intimate moments and this and that, but I just don't love you." Like you're gonna push him to because you can tell he's uncomfortable. And I'm sure he wants it to stop. Like, leave him the hell alone about it, Jessica. Like, you getting on my nerves, okay? Anyway, she says it, and it's like crickets. He doesn't say it back. She's looking like, oh my gosh. And again, his response was, which he's never, he's never faltered from. He was like, look, I have strong feelings for you. I just need more time. That's it. I need more time to get there. So she was like, yeah, okay. He was like, I hope you can understand that. Obviously not, because she continues to bring it up. But anyway, so Dr. Viviana gave them a little exercise to do to write letters to their younger selves. And so they do that. They go to the beach and they're writing like in these little journals, letters to their younger selves, and they read them out loud. And yeah, that was it with them. Jessica finally came on and said, I love you. And Austin is still saying, I'm not there yet. That was it. All right, so let's move on to Derek and Katie. So Derek and Katie meet up with Dr. Viviana, and they both revealed how they had to grow up pretty quick. The parents divorced, and just the family dynamics, caused them to have to grow up fast. The difference is, Derek, he kind of held on to the child at heart, inside. Like it's like I missed out on a lot of things in my childhood, so he wants to do some of those things. He still wants to have his childhood moments as an adult. Whereas Katie is like, missed opportunity. I had to grow up fast. I had to be the adult, growing up. Now that I am an adult, it's time to be a grown up, and my childhood is gone, basically. Um, so she shedded some tears, and I think that they were tasked with going and checking out Derek's, his childhood memories and things like that. So they ended up at some garage. They were looking through some boxes, and he had things like his high school pictures and just things from his childhood, letters that he wrote to the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus, which I thought was so adorable. Anyway, so they ended up coming across this poem that Derek wrote. Now, to me, first of all, let me just say this. I never believed Derek when he said that he never been in love. I just didn't. I just felt like that was his storyline. Everybody that comes on the show has to have a storyline. And I just felt like that was his, you know? Anyway, so they come across this poem. He reads it, and it's very sweet. I love the poem. He apparently wrote it when he was, I think he said, a freshman or a sophomore in high school. And to me, it seemed very personal. It seemed real, like he wrote it about a girlfriend or ex girlfriend. Apparently, Katie thought so too, because she was like, this sounds like something really deep, like this is something that you experienced. And so I'm shocked, I'm confused, because this sounds like something someone in love would have written, which I agree, I do. And Derek was like, well, I've just imagined this is how it would be. Okay, Derek, I'm not buying it, but okay. However, Katie, her response, like to me, I would have just been like, yeah, okay, whatever. But I would have looked at it like, okay, this dude, he's saying that this is something that he imagined how love would be. I don't know. I would look at it as something positive, but not her. Anyway, so they started going through his stuff, and she found this cooler that was decorated, and apparently an ex-girlfriend named Monica made it for him. And I think on the side of it there was like a bucket list, and it was, some things were checked off, like going to formal. um what else? The elephants. I think there was the elephants up there. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, so he was like, "Yeah, I went to formal." So she was like, "Oh, is Monica the one you took to formal?" Yeah. And then we snuck in the circus and petted some elephants, and she lost it. She was like, "What? That's what you did on your first date? Like, who does that?" And it's like, she was doing it. You could tell she was jealous, but she was doing it. What I find with Katie is she does, now that I know that she revealed about her childhood and how, she had to grow up fast, and pretty much her childhood, she never experienced it, and it's like whatever. She's just a killjoy, and it seemed like she gets a kick out of downing him and making fun of his positive experience or his positive outlook on things. So I thought, now me personally, me going to hang out with elephants is not my thing. Because listen, I would have been scared to do it. However, him doing it, I just thought it was cute. I thought it was cute. That was something different, adventurous. I just would have looked at it like, wow, this dude can get deep with his thoughts to the point where he can put it on paper and convince you that he's been in love before. Also, he's adventurous. He's willing to think outside the box and do little stuff like that. Not saying that, you guys as adults just sneak in the circus and pet elephants, but it just shows the fun, carefree side of him. And instead of her seeing that and appreciating it, she went straight to, "Oh, well, I've never seen this side of you." Like, y'all only been married for what? What is this, 6 weeks? I'm thinking, girl, so I don't know. Katie, it just seemed like she just wants to start fights with him, and I don't know why. But anyway, so they sat down, and she was like, "I don't, I don't know you, and this is crazy, and oh my gosh," and she just making a big deal out of it. And so he was like, "Yeah, he doesn't know why she's so pressed. Like, why are you so?" And he even said it. He was like, "Yeah, she came off like she was a little jealous of a high school sweetheart girl." Just Katie, I'm gonna need you to have several seats, okay? Like, please stop being dramatic for no reason at all. Anyway, let's move on to Taylor and Brandon. So they meet up for dinner, and they were just talking about how everything was going so far. Taylor asked him, was he gonna move back in? Well, she told him he could move back in if he wanted to. And so he was like, "Okay, if I'm moving back in, am I going to the guest room, or am I coming to back to the main bedroom?" And she told him, he can come back to the main bedroom if he want, whatever. Um. Anyway, so they get back to the apartment, and Brandon is spending the night. So, okay, I'll tell you who who was excited to see Brandon. Tyson, that dog. See, okay, Tyson is a male dog, right? Now, Brandon keeps saying that maybe it's because, he's not used to Mel being around, that he's kind of showing him that this is his territory. No, I think Tyson is in love with Brandon. I do. Because I I can see if he's being territorial, and he's kind of like, let's say if he's with Taylor and Tyson comes again between them or things like that. No, this dog is humping him. And he even said, he was like, he'll be asleep, and in the middle of the night he's thinking, "Oh, my wife is, trying to get frisky," and it's the dog humping him. So Brandon was in bed, and the dog gets up there. This is a big dog too. My God, he's that's a big dog. He gets in the bed and he lays at the foot. So Brandon was like, "Oh, okay." Then Taylor, she's in the bathroom. All of a sudden, Tyson moves up to the top of the bed. Like, it was so funny because he got to the top, literally laid up under Brandon. Like, that's his man. Like, so Taylor comes in. She sees the dog, and Taylor was okay with it. She was like, "Oh, you want to stay?" And Brandon kind of gave her this look. Anyway, so the dog is gone, and Taylor was like, now mind you, Brandon told her, well, Taylor's like, she fishes for compliments. Okay, so he was already in the bed, and she still had on the dress. She pinned her hair up, and he told her she looked nice. So she gets in the bed, and she's like, this is the first time you've complimented me all night. And he looked like he is just drunk and sleepy. He's like, "What are you talking about? I told you look nice." She was like, "Yeah, but it was towards the end, and you never really compliment me." And I feel like, listen, yes, I understand as a woman, we want to be complimented. Of course we do. But the way here's my thing. Considering the issues you guys have had, considering what, I mean, your marriage so far, you guys are really getting to know each other all over again. So I feel like this. He complimented her. Okay. It may not have been the way she wanted it. It may not have been when she wanted, but he did without her uh coaching him up to do it, if you will. So my thing is this. He complimented you. Take that. Like, build on that. Give it time. She's just Taylor nitpicks with him. And I'm not saying, don't speak up and say what you want. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, considering you guys' relationship and the communication issues you've had, and he complimented you, whereas he didn't before. You had a problem with him not complimenting you and not touching you and all of this. So when he does, it's not good enough. Well, you didn't say it. It's like, girl, she was wearing me out. But and I was like, uh-oh, he's probably gonna snap. But he didn't. He was calm, and he was like, okay, I did compliment you, but okay. Um, you look beautiful, and you're this, you're that, blah blah blah. And see, to me, I'm like, I wouldn't even want that, because I feel like you're only saying it because I'm bringing it up. And even when he was saying it, she was like, uh-huh, okay. And he said, okay, now I know, I'll do better. And anyway, so after she, comes back to bed, she turns the lights off, she gets in the bed. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed, when she got back into the bed after turning off the lights, she got in and she moved all the way over to Brandon's side, right? Like, getting up under him. And she got up under him. She kind of reached over, I guess, like to hug him or cuddle, whatever. And he was like, "All right, kiddo, let's go to sleep." Y'all, we've already had the conversation about Brandon's sexuality. I think, here's my thing. I think Brandon is bisexual. I don't think he's totally gay. I think he's bisexual. But I don't think he's into Taylor. And she knows it, and I think that's what bothers her. Everything that Brandon has done, she is over it. She's over it. To me, Taylor's big problem is that Brandon doesn't come off like he's attracted to her. If you notice, she's always fishing for compliments because he doesn't give them as often or as much, or extensive as she would like. Going back to the honeymoon, okay? Well, no, let me get into the whole when they met up and they went to his childhood home and all of that, because it ties into a comment that she made. So anyway, the next day I'm gonna shelve that and come back to it. I'm gonna tie it all together. So the next day, they go to Brandon's old neighborhood. They went to I guess the little park where he used to play basketball, and play little games with the neighborhood kids, hide and seek, whatever. And so they started playing, basketball a little bit. Taylor was saying, she doesn't know how to play, and they started playing. Okay, guys, those who don't know. Okay, when the ladies are like, oh, come on, let's play a little game, or come on, let's show me how to play. We're not real. Well, some of us may really want to know, but for the most part, that's the way to get close. Like, okay, get behind me and teach me how to dribble, and it's a way to get close and for y'all to be for us to touch. Okay, which is what I think Taylor wanted. So they're playing, and Brandon is like elbowing her. He's backing up to her. He's playing with her like she's a dude. So when she gets the ball, this is what I mean by what Taylor, I think her main issue is. So she gets the ball and he's behind her. He's not all up on her. He has his hand like on her lower back. And then she makes the comment, oh, this is the most you've ever touched me. So they did all of that. They finished, they held hands, they walked off and whatever. Um so later on they're back at the apartment, and apparently Dr. Viviana gave them some cards, and I guess if whatever card it lands on, they say what they won for whatever the number is on the card. So example, what was it? It landed on a 4, and Brandon was like, okay, I'll give you 4 compliments. Then it landed on the 8, and he wanted a kiss for 8 seconds, which was so awkward and dry. Like, I know everybody's not into tongue, but it was so. I'm like, is this the first time, other than the wedding, that they've kissed? I don't know. I don't think so. Anyway, so going back to what I was saying, Taylor, to me, got over. Okay, what Brandon did and said on the honeymoon, she got over it pretty quickly, which surprised me because what he did was pretty extreme in my opinion. She got over that quick. When they got back home and he finally came over, when they had the family members over, everything seemed to be going okay. And she was kind of bringing up the whole honeymoon situation again, which caused them to, have a little argument. Anyway, we all know what happened. Taylor seems to get over Brandon's behavior and things that he said and he's done. It seems like when she feels he's rejecting her, because remember, what they had an argument, he left, they came back, they were on the couch, and she's laid all up on him, and she's like, she wants to spend more time with him, and he's like, yeah, okay. He just seemed very nonchalant and distant, and that Taylor is a pretty woman, and she knows this, and I'm sure she's used to getting attention, and so for your husband, because remember on the honeymoon when she was trying to kiss him, this is after the whole um camera in his face situation, right? And remember, she was trying to hug on him, kiss him, he's moving away. Then after they were cool, she mentioned the other couples, having sex, and he was like, okay, yeah, that's good for them. Like he didn't want to talk about it. And then for him to tell the guys that, oh, they walk around with no clothes on in the hotel room. Taylor probably did. I can't see Brandon doing that. But anyway, my point is, I think Taylor's big problem is she feels rejected because Brandon is not coming on to her. She made these little comments, and I think that's where the whole, when she did her Instagram video, when she was saying how, she wants someone that's not gay and all of that. I feel the problem is the rejection. Like, he's not touching on me, he's not even trying to kiss me, he's not trying to have sex, whatever. And that's the problem. She wants affection for whatever reason. Brandon is just not, he's not feeling it. He's not feeling it. And I don't know why. But anyway. All right. So let's move into Mike and Mika. Okay. So, child, this episode started off with the drama. Yeah, I know how sometimes it could be a little dry to the middle or the end, but it started with the drama. So Mike comes home and Mika's in the bedroom. They greet each other, and she, he comes to sit next to her on the bed. She grabs his hand and she's like, she wants to talk about their finances. Y'all already know Mika not letting up until she get her answers. Anyway, so she shows Mike her, because apparently before today or that day, they talked about being open and honest, and he said that, remember, they met with the experts, and he was like, I'm going to be open and honest, I'm going to be transparent, this is it, I know what I need to do, I'm going to make it better. Boom. All right, so here we are, this is what you said you were going to do, so now we're sitting down and let's talk about finances. Okay, so she shows Mike her pay stubs, and on the computer, broke it all down for him, whatever. When it was his turn, he said that, because he just started, he doesn't have pay stubs, but he does have an offer letter. So he pulls out this piece of paper out of his nightstand, and he starts breaking down salary, taxes, take home pay, and just all of this stuff. So Mika looked at it, and immediately she was like, "Nah, that's not adding up." So she was like, "This doesn't make sense. These numbers are not adding up. How would they know what you're going to take home? Like, how would they know what you're going to claim on your taxes?" Right? So, when you're filling out your forms, your W-4, and you're putting down, how many you're going to claim, all of that. How would they know that? Right? When they, I've had offer letters. When they give you an offer letter, it is, this is how much we're going to pay you. Either they'll have annually, or they'll have, if your salary, or they'll have your hourly, whatever. They don't break it down. I've never had a letter where they broke it down. This is how much you're going to have after taxes. Never, ever. Okay. So anyway, she was like, this doesn't make sense. And, she was like, they don't know how much you're going to claim on your taxes. So how can they put that down? And he said something like, well, this is before I got married, so I guess they just figure some crap he was saying. So she was like, this doesn't make sense. And he was like, yeah, well, maybe they made a mistake. Like, here's my thing. Even let's just say it's true. Let's just say it's true. When he said, well, maybe they made a mistake, I don't know. The fact that you're nonchalant about your salary, like, why, if you feel like they made a mistake, why are you not concerned? Like, that would bother me, that my husband's like, okay, well, that's what they said they was gonna give me, so it is what it is. Like, you're not gonna question it. It doesn't bother you. You're not serious about your money. Like, yeah. So she was pissed. She's like, this doesn't make sense. And she told him to write down. She's like, look, you're not being honest. This doesn't make sense. I know numbers. That's my job. So I recognize this isn't right. Can you please write down your salary? He wrote down a number, then he wrote down something else, and he scratched that out, and then he wrote down a number. He gave it to her, and she lost it. She looked down, saw whatever number it was, and she lost it. So next thing I know, she was like, Montre, I can't. And I'm like, who the hell? When she said Montre, I'm like, who is Montre? Like, is that Mike's real name? Because it was so, it was so quick. But Montre is the producer. So she was like, Montre, I can't. I can't do this. I know y'all like, hang in there, stick this out. She was like, but I can't. Like, she called Mike a weirdo. She was like, he is a liar. And so she gets up and she walks out. So they're showing Mike still on the bed. Yeah, I know what he does. Every time he gets caught, he starts playing with his wedding ring. He starts twirling. Mike is just crazy. I'm sorry. That dude needs help. Anyway, so she's walking out. She's walking down the hall. Producers are following her, and she goes off. She's like, I mean, now we've seen Mika have her moments where, she's frustrated and she's like, stop lying, whatever. But at this moment, you can tell she had enough. And so she's like, I can't take it. I have asked him to please be honest, whatever it is, we could talk about it, we could deal with it, whatever. He keeps saying he's going to tell the truth, but he keeps lying. She's like, I can't do this. It's beyond me. He needs help. And so she was talking to the crew and she was like, I've asked for, honesty. Like, would y'all want a liar? Would y'all want to deal with this? Because you can have them. She was like, because I don't want to be married to somebody like this. I deserve better. And I was all for it. I was like, yes, you do deserve better. Good for you. Get it all out. Get it off your chest because I totally agree with her. So the producers was like, I guess was Monterey. He was like, well, go tell him that. She was like, for what? Like, I've been saying this to him. I'm tired of talking about it. He's not going to change. He needs help. Something is wrong with him. And so it went from that to they ended up meeting with Dr. Viviana. Dr. Viviana comes over and they started talking about, they went straight to him lying about his salary. Now, all this time, Dr. Viviana was kind of siding with Mike. I feel, she was telling Mika, oh, you have to be a soft place for him to land. You can't be frustrated all the time, whatever. This time, Dr. Viviana gets it. It's like, all right, nothing is progressing. It's still the same. Like, he continues to lie. Okay? So, Dr. Viviana is like, all right, look, she's asking him, she's like, why couldn't you just tell her the truth? Just tell her what you made. And because Mika thing was, regardless of what it is, if you don't make a lot or whatever, it's okay. Just tell me, we can work it out, you know? But you constantly lying about it, it's frustrating, of course. So Dr. Viviana asked him, she's like, well, why couldn't you just tell her how much you made? Why couldn't you just tell her the truth? He goes into, of course, he brings up, you know, um, it all goes back to him not knowing his mom and him having to make up stories basically to make it look good, like he didn't want to be teased about his mom abandoning him, about him not knowing his father. So he created this narrative, he created this fantasy life, so that he won't get teased about it. I mean, I get it. I trust kids. We, as innocent as children are, you do have children who they are in protective mode, and they make up lies, to fit in. They make up lies to, so people won't tease them. I understand all of that. Totally get it. Okay? But at some point, as an adult, you need to figure things out, But he was saying that, um, he would make up stories because he didn't want to be embarrassed, and that kind of manifested into adulthood, and him lying about his pay, his job offer. He was embarrassed, and one thing led to another, and he was saying that he was embarrassed because, I guess, okay, so we know that on the honeymoon he said that he got an offer to be a principal, right? And then when they got back, he told Mika that didn't work out. He took another offer. So he was saying that he was embarrassed because, I guess, the principal job, of course, paid more, and he didn't take that one. He took another job which was less pay. Okay, but you already told her this. Remember when he was taking out her hair, he told her, he was like, no, as a matter of fact, okay, hold up. As a matter of fact, remember when he was taking out her weave when they got back from the honeymoon, and that's when he told her, he was like, well, I didn't take the principal job, it didn't pan out. I took another job, but the pay, either he said the pay was the same or it wasn't that much different. I remember that. I wonder if I still have that episode on my DVR. But anyway, but he was like, yeah, everything's gonna be fine, whatever. So now he's saying that it was a big difference, and so he was embarrassed by it. I can't with him. Anyway, um, so Mika was like, you're playing victim when I'm the one that's being lied to. Now you're sitting up here playing victim. So, like I said, he goes into the whole adoption and not having a mom and blah blah blah. So Dr. Viviana was like, she jumps in and she's like pretty much helping his story by, saying, oh, to make something that doesn't make sense, so you can move on and build. And he was like, yeah, yeah, um, he's like, yeah, that's all he knows and that's what he's good at. So in his confessional, he was saying, like I said, as a kid, he had to make up stories, keep from being teased, all of that. He knows, he needs to work at it, blah, blah, blah. Here's my thing. A lot of times people, let's say they had childhood trauma, they became liars, whatever, they grow up, whatever. A lot of times when once people recognize the problem, like, because you have some people who they see nothing wrong with lying. They feel like that's a part of me. I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm not hurting anybody, whatever. There's nothing wrong with a little lie. They don't get it. They don't realize the impact of their lies. Michael is sitting here saying, and he has repeatedly said, he understands, he's going to open up more, he's going to be transparent. And now in this episode, he's saying that that's all he's done all his life. So you know what you're doing. It's not like he knows what he's doing. You recognize the problem. You recognize why. Because some people do things and like they don't really realize why they're doing it until they seek therapy or they have an epiphany and they're like, oh, you know what? Maybe this stemmed from when I was a kid and my defense mechanism, whatever. When Michael talks, it seemed like he realizes what he's doing, why he's doing it, and the impact of what he's doing, and yet he continues to do it. So at what point are you going to take accountability and not just speak it like, yeah, I realize what I'm doing. Okay, you realize what you're doing, but what are you doing about it? That's my whole thing. You recognize you're a liar. You recognize why you lie. We get it. We understand it. What are you doing to fix it? Because at this point, what you're doing is sabotaging your marriage, number one, and you are frustrating your wife. You're frustrating your wife, you're lying to her, and then you expect her to just get over it. Okay? So, anyway, Mika seemed like, you know, she was, I guess, being understanding. She was like, now I understand. Um, why he's doing it. Mickey, you've said this before too. Like, you've said this before. I understand. I get it. She's like, but she did mention that, he doesn't seem to open up until they're with the experts and he's put on the spot, which I've said before. Like, why is it so hard for you to talk to her, but you can tell this to the experts? And it is making me feel like when he's put on the spot with the experts is when he's coming out with this. I don't know. I can't. He obviously has issues. I don't want to downplay it and say it's not real, but your issues doesn't justify you lying and treating your wife this way. Like, and then coming off like her feelings and her frustrations aren't valid. Like, get over it. I don't trust you yet and all this BS. But anyway, so Mika seemed like she was kind of, falling for it. And he had like he was getting ready to cry, and yeah, I know he started rubbing his head. I wanted to just punch Michael in his face, okay? Because it irritates me. I understand and I do believe that he has been a liar all of his life. Yes, some of it could be related to him, his family dynamics, all of that. But I feel like he's using that as an excuse. And it pisses me off that he does get into this victim role, and I don't see where he's trying to even change. He's just doing it. He's just continuing to lie, and then he looks at her like, "Why are you upset? Why are you getting like this? What is wrong with you?" Like he doesn't know how to turn it off. Anyway, and then he gets into this whole, when the experts are there, he's rubbing his forehead and he's either crying or he's getting ready to cry, and that's just ugh. Okay, so Mika, she moves over closer to him, and she's like, "Yeah, now I get it. Now I see." Blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, Mika, really? Because you getting on my nerves too. Again, here's my thing. If you hear what he's saying, you say you understand, you say you're willing to work with him or whatever, then do that. But you can't know he has a problem. Know he's a liar. Know he's a he's a serious liar. Like he's it's not just, it's to the point now where you can't even believe anything he says. You tell him, hey, after work stop by the store, and he comes home and say, yeah, the store was closed or they didn't have whatever. He lies so much that the littlest thing I wouldn't believe him. And my whole thing is, she can't keep she can't keep, saying, "Oh, I'm frustrated. He's such a liar." But then you turn around and say, "Hey, I'm going to help him through it." Okay, that's just me. Anyway, um, okay, so she's like, "Yeah, I get it. I understand now. Whatever." Anyway, Mika ends up meeting with Mike's sister, and this was a very interesting meeting. So she meets up with him just to get some more insight on his childhood and, why he is the way he is. So she mentioned about Mike being dishonest, like a lot, she was saying how it's little things, it's things that he don't even have to lie about that he lies about. And that, it's hard for her to trust him and all of that. So she gave examples, and his sister was like, "Okay, so you call it lying, and if he was here, he may call it exaggeration." As soon as she said that, I was like, "Okay, you know." First of all, his family knows how he is. This is nothing new. They know Michael has issues, and you can tell she was kind of like being very careful, very calculated with her responses. So she said, he may call it exaggeration. No, sis, that's not exaggeration. Okay, you lying about, and according to Mika, it was like double digits off. You lying about your salary. You lying about the miles on your car. I mean, those are lies. Those are lies. Exaggeration is, you really 5'8" and you're saying you're, oh, I'm 5'9", I'm 5'10". That's exaggeration. Okay, that's that's exaggeration. But you lying about jobs and salaries? Mm-mm. Anyway, so Mika was like, "Look, I told Mike that I'm okay with whatever it is. Just be honest, and we can work it out together. We can talk about it, whatever." So the sister, she's making these same facial expressions that Mike makes. His sister was saying how you may have to bring it out of him. You have to make him feel, like it's okay to be himself, to not have to present himself as if he needs to be this perfect person. Now, okay, so Mika was like, I'm not looking for him to be, perfect. This is what I got out of that. It almost came off like, and y'all help me out with this. Let me know if I'm off the charts with this. When the sister said that, I got that, not saying she was putting the blame on Mika, but when she says, make him feel like he doesn't have to put on, present himself as perfect, because she was saying that, you know, when he was being himself, I guess growing up, he was teased and all of this. And so here he has this wife, and he feels like he has to have the perfect job. He has to have the perfect salary. He has to be this perfect person. Whose fault is that? And so when she says, maybe you should help him feel like he have to present himself as this perfect person. So my thing is, was she trying to say, Mika, you're putting these expectations on him, and these are things that he feels like he has to live up to? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I got from that. I don't know. Maybe I'm off. But when she said that, and then what else made me, well, I felt that way when she said it. But then later on, when she made a comment at the end of the conversation, and she was offering Mika some Brussels sprouts, and Mika was like, "Oh, I'm picky," and she was like, "Yeah, yeah, let's talk about that. You talking about my brother?" Now, mind you, she was laughing and smiling about it, but y'all know people will laugh and smile and joking, but there's some truth behind it. And she was like, "Yeah, let's talk about you and your pickiness. You being picky. Um, you talking about my brother. Come on, let's talk about you." I'm sure Michael is talking to his family. He's probably telling them, "Look, she's coming out like she's Miss Perfect, and she's expecting me to be." I don't know. Just you have to follow the conversation. And in my mind, when I'm listening to the sister talk, it's almost like you're putting pressure on my brother to be this perfect person. He just wants to be himself. She's like, he just wants to be accepted as himself. Okay, damn it, that he needs to be himself. Like, what the hell? This one I don't get. This one I don't get. Michael says, and now the sister is saying, oh, he had to make up lies to be accepted growing up. He just wants to be accepted for who he really is. Got it. I get it. I understand. I understand all that. However, you are not presenting your real self to your wife. So, how is she going to accept the real you when you're not giving her the real you? That's the part I don't understand. You have lied from day one, okay? You continue to lie even when she says it's okay if you don't make this amount of money, it's okay if you don't do this, just tell me the truth. And you continue to lie, and then you're saying, I just want to be loved and accepted for the real me. Well, how about the real you show up? How about that? Like, I don't understand that. I don't get it. Anyway, so the sister is like, he just wants to be accepted and loved, and I think that, you can pull that out of him. You have to help him with that. Bullshit. No. Michael had a whole lifetime to get his stuff together, and you, as his family, knew this is how he was. Why didn't y'all help him? Why is he not going to therapy? Okay, so this is what I'm getting. Because at towards the end or in the middle of this show, you you find out, or you get the idea of why these people are up here. So what it seemed to me is, this is Michael. This is how he is with all his relationships. He's a liar. You know, he brings the same drama, and women are not putting up with it. They're like, look, I can't deal with this. You're a liar. You're crazy. You're a weirdo. Whatever. So his thing is, let me get an instant wife. Because what I'm seeing is, these people feel like because they get an instant spouse, that half the work is done. I don't have to meet somebody, get to know them, allow them to get to know me and my craziness. I'm going to get an instant spouse. And for whatever reason, they feel like because we're married, they're just going to automatically put up with whatever. That's what I'm getting. All his relationships fail because of who he is. And so it's like, well, and my thing is this would have been the perfect opportunity for you to be the real you, because you don't have to put on airs. You don't. You have your wife be the real you. If you're not making a lot of money, say, hey, this is what I'm working towards. This is my goal. This is what I want to do. I don't know. Michael is just draining. But Mika, at the end of the dinner with his sister, she seemed like, yeah, okay, I can help him with that. I don't know if it's the maternal instinct in Mika, where, she was used to raising her siblings, damn near raised her mom, where she just like, I don't want to give up on him. Maybe she sees, I don't know. I don't know. Or she just trying to hang in there until the end to get her check. Because I can't understand. She has valid reasons to leave now. She really does. She complains, she argues, she fusses, she stresses herself out. She was almost in tears talking to the producers because she was just going off. And yet, and you even saying this is above me, he needs professional help. And yet, now we're back full circle. Oh, yeah, I think I can help him with that. So I don't get it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, moving on to Zach and Mindy. Mindy meets up with her girlfriends, and they're talking about, well, she's telling them, giving them updates on what's going on. So one of the friends, Shani, which is the Asian girl, remember, she was her bridesmaid. She was also the one that was grilling Zach, when they had their little meetup after the wedding, all of that. So let's remember Shani, the Asian girl. Okay. So Mindy, like I said, she's giving them an update. She's told them how Zach, when they had dinner, he told her he had this secret. And the secret was that apparently after the honeymoon, because you guys know they had their little thing with the honeymoon, and Zach did not come home with her. Anyway, so apparently the ex boyfriend said that he wanted to come pick Mindy up from the airport after they came back from the honeymoon. I don't know. Now, he didn't do that. The ex boyfriend did not come and pick her up. Her friend Shani did. That's the Asian girl. She came and picked her up. But Zach was saying how he had a friend that knew Mindy's ex boyfriend. I don't even know how all that could have came about, but that knew her ex boyfriend, and apparently the ex boyfriend told him and whatever. Now he's saying that's how he found out. Okay. So while Mindy was telling the story that, like, this is what Zach told me how he found out, Shani finally speaks up. Okay, and she's looking all like she had this epiphany, like this light bulb went off, and oh, I think I know who it is. So Mindy's like, what are you talking about? Okay, so then Shani is like, well, now that I'm thinking about it, now that I'm processing it, I'm connecting the dots, and girl, okay. So she's like, yeah, well, I remember when you told me that your ex wanted to pick you up from the airport. And she put emphasis on, you said this. You said he wanted to pick you up from the airport. So it was almost like she wants to make it clear this is something that you said, Mindy, that your ex boyfriend wanted to come pick you up. So she says, and then I ended up meeting with Lindsay, and I told her. Okay. So here's my thing. So Shani is talking to Lindsay about Mindy, right? Now it could have been innocent. I'm not totally, I'm not totally putting it on Shani, but I'm gonna tell you something. That whole conversation right there was suspect. The thing is, we all know her friends. Okay, when they met up, I think, was it at the Pottery Place? When they met up with Zach, it was Shani, Mindy, and I want to say it was either Mindy's sister or one of her male friends. I can't remember. This was right after the wedding, and after the honeymoon, and they met up somewhere, and they were talking, and Shani was like grilling him. You knew then that she wasn't feeling Zach. Okay. And then I don't know how they was feeling beforehand, but they were not feeling him. And so I'm pretty sure when Mindy confided in her friends, telling them how he hasn't moved in, how he won't touch her, how this, how that, they all sat back and had a conversation about it. I can almost guarantee, because that's what we do, right? It's like, oh my God, I can't believe she's putting up with this, whatever. So Shani is talking to Lindsay about Mindy's ex boyfriend wanting to come and pick her up, right? To me, it sounded like a little, just a little flippant conversation. Like, girl, yeah, my ex said he wanted to come pick me up, and Shani's like, no, I'm coming to get you. Don't even do that. It seemed like it was just a little, I don't know, a flippant conversation, not really something to report. So Shani's having this conversation behind Mindy's back with Lindsay. Lindsay reaches out to Zach and tells him this stuff. Okay, Zach did not reveal that it was Lindsay who one that told him. He came up with this whole story about he had a friend that he has a friend that knew um her ex boyfriend and child. So then Shani went into this whole calling Lindsay all kinds of bitches and liars and acting like she's so upset. Like, oh well, we can't trust and believe her. Basically deflecting off to the fact that you were talking about your friend. You went to Lindsay for whatever reason. Like, I would not be surprised if Shani didn't tell Lindsay to reach out to. I just can't. I'm not putting nothing past them. Like, that was just some shady stuff to me. Anyway, later on, Zach comes over to the apartment. They sit down. Zach goes into this whole um it's been a great week. He wants to cheers to having a great week, and basically giving himself a pat on the back, like, oh, he's exhausted, from putting in and putting forth an effort, and he's excited and blah blah blah. So Mindy was like, not so fast, head and shoulders, like, I can't cheers to that because I'm not feeling it. She said she was excited that she was excited that it seemed like things were coming around. They were spending more time together, all of that. But then she gets into the whole, um, having a conversation, having a meeting with her friends. And she was like, when they had their recommitment meeting and decided, all right, these are the conditions, and these are the things that she wants in order to move forward. One of them being, well, two of them being honest and transparent. And she was like, you lied to me. I forgave you for basically calling her a liar. Remember, he called her a liar at dinner and was like, oh, you're hiding something and blah blah blah. And so she's like, look, I forgave you, and that was your opportunity to be completely honest. When I asked you, was it Lindsay the one that told you um about the ex, he was like, no. And she went into this whole, I can't trust you. How can you do this? You still had an opportunity to be open and honest with me. You wasn't. And um so she starts crying, she's like, I can't do this anymore. Um I can't be with someone who will lie to me about something like that. How can you do this to someone who gave you their heart, whatever? And she was just like, I told you, like, basically you had one more chance, you blew it, and I'm sorry, but I don't want to be in this marriage anymore. Honey, when I tell you, I was kind of shocked. I was very, very happy for her because Mindy, you should have done this a long time ago. But whatever. So I was happy. And the look on his face was priceless because remember, Zach was the main one that was like, I'm not attracted to her. I mean, he went out of his way to tell this woman this weekly. Remember in the beginning, like the first week, he told her 3 times. She said he told her 3 times since the wedding that he was not attracted to her. So he's walking around like like he's this catch and he's this god and oh, he's this and he's that and he's not attracted to her and just being rude. And she is the one to break it off. She is the one to dump him. That has got to bruise his ego. I'm sure he's happy that it's over in a sense, but trust and believe he is not happy that she is the one to leave him. Okay. Um and so he's sitting there and he's like, I have so much to say, but I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it. And what? Not Mr. Dictionary, who always has something to say. So he was just he was just sitting there and she was like, that's all I have to say. I don't think there's any need for you to come back here, get your stuff. So get all your stuff now and leave the keys. And I was like, yes, Mindy, yes. I loved every minute of it because I was worried that he was going to like fast talk her and, tell her like, and you know what? And I'm wondering if he had said, because he didn't say, well, you know what? I'm sorry. I really, really want this to work. Can you give me another chance? He didn't say any of that. So I'm wondering if he had did that, would she have given him another chance? Anyway, woulda, shoulda, coulda. I'm glad he didn't, and I love the way I just love the way it went down. She told him how she felt. I gave you another chance. You blew it. I don't want to be in this marriage. That's all I have to say. There's no need for you to come back. Grab your stuff, grab all your things, and leave them keys. I loved it. I feel bad for the dogs because the dogs love her. You saw how the dog was all up on her? Anyway, so Zach gets his stuff and he leaves the key. He puts the key on the table, but then he's like standing there. And she done put her hair up in a ponytail. She's sitting there with her wine, looking straight. And she was like, yeah, okay. And he was like, okay. And he left out. So later, Dr. Viviana comes over, meets with Mindy, and Mindy tells her, it's over. I couldn't take it. She told her, everything that happened about him lying, and pretty much he was protecting Lindsay, and so she was like, I couldn't do it anymore, and I deserve better. I broke things off. Dr. Viviana was happy. You can tell she was happy that she made the decision. And I don't think I thought any of the experts felt like they should be together at some point. But like Pastor Cal said before, he was like, we can't force anybody to get a divorce. Um, I mean, even in his last meeting, he was like, look, have some substance. Be an advocate for yourself. Like, in other words, listen. So I guess, they can coach them, they can say certain things, but the goal and the purpose of this show is to have successful married couples. So naturally, they're going to try their best to keep them together. But I think they saw how bad it was that they were kind of encouraging her to basically stand up for yourself, have some self-respect, and don't allow this man to treat you this way. So anyway, she did. Dr. Viviana was seeming like she was very happy about it. Anyway, so she goes to see Zach. She goes in there and Zach is still just being Zach. He's lying. He's lying about lying. She's like, did you lie to your wife? He's like, no. And she's like, well, Why would you not tell her the truth that it was Lindsay that told you? And he's like, oh, I didn't want to start any drama. Like, are you serious, dude? At the dinner, you laughed in this woman's face and called her a liar and made it seem like she was this terrible person for, keeping this secret and all this crap. What are you talking about? And you did that because you knew it was your 1 month anniversary and you knew that she was going to be like, all right, let's go home. And you didn't want to. So you threw that out there, you know? And the whole time you're like, oh, I didn't want to start any drama, bring people into it and all this crap. So he was like, no, he didn't lie. So Dr. Viviana was like, what? And you can tell she was over it. It got to the point, it was so bad. She was laughing at him. She was like, really, Zach? Like, come on. And he was like, nah, no, that's the truth. I don't know what So she was over it. She was over it. She knew he was a liar. He has been called out. He has been exposed. And yeah, I think everybody was just happy that Mindy walked away. Um, yeah, so that was the end of that. They ended up having her friends over, and they had their divorce party, and she seemed in a good space. I don't know how much of it was putting on airs, but she seemed like she was in a good space. I'm glad that her friends were there to support her and, just cheer her up during that time. I'm not feeling Shani, and I'm not feeling Lindsay. I'm just not feeling them two at all. Um, but yeah, so that was the end of that. So they are separated. I hope they stay separated because y'all already know we had the thing with Brandon and Taylor where he was saying he was over it and he didn't want it anymore. And we see that they ended up back together. So I'm really, really hoping that Mindy sticks to her guns and is like, it's over. Leave me alone. I'm really hoping that. Anyway, so that is it, you guys. That is my review. Please leave your comments below. Let me know what you think about this episode. Again, sorry it is so late. But until next time, take care.